Hello, I'm Sarah Strackhouse. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm so excited to kick this off. Our first guest is Courtney Robertson, who is a PE teacher in Richardson ISD here in Texas. Thank you so much for joining us, Courtney.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I really want to talk about being a PE teacher. How are you doing that from home? Because I know that a lot of kids are home with their parents right now, and physical health is so important. So tell us a little bit about how you're kind of fixing that problem.
Yes, well, it is kind of a difficult situation to go from teaching in a gym every day to now being at home where everything is now virtual. But luckily for us, a lot of our physical education outlets are being super helpful. They are all coming up with at-home activity units, and they are sending those units to us, and they're allowing the parents access to all of these resources at home. So they're supplying all of the links to us as physical educators, and they're allowing the parents to access them for free at home. And also, what is another wonderful thing is that they're allowing the parents a lot of discounts on equipment and like free shipping and wonderful things like that. But they're doing a lot of, yes, it's wonderful, a lot of tutorials as well. So a lot of them are making virtual videos and things like that. So it's been a learning process for me. I've had to do a lot more online learning myself, to learn to do online videos and get them out there. I'm not very tech savvy, but I've had to learn. It's a whole learning process for everybody.
It really is, and it's unprecedented times. It's very strange. I feel like we're all in this quasi-learning mode. We're all working from home. We're in quarantine situations. Everything is via the computer now. So I can only imagine kind of what teachers are going through.
Yes, it is a total revamp of a teaching situation where a lot of the teachers think that they are very tech savvy. Mm-hmm. You're learning that, oh, no, I've got to actually reteach myself, and again, as far as physical education goes, you really think that you're using a lot of technology in the gym like your district wants you to, but then you think, now how am I going to put this into the homes, and it's a difficult situation, but you just got to take it day by day and go slowly and realize that, the kids have to adjust to this as well. And you're just there to offer support for the students and for the parents as well. I want to make sure that I'm offering a well-balanced atmosphere for the students to get outside and be active, but also a social emotional learning atmosphere too, because they're stuck at home with their siblings and their parents also. And we've got to make sure that we're offering both sides of the spectrum for everyone to stay happy and healthy and well balanced.
And I feel like it's a learning curve for a lot of parents too. I mean, we could all benefit from some emotional learning, I think, especially everyone being cooped up in the same house. From the parent side, you're also a mother of 3. So from the parental side of things, tell us a little bit about how it's been. I grew up with 2 siblings, so I can only imagine how my parents would have been if we were, cooped up inside for, a month and a half trying to teach school. So tell me a little bit about that learning curve.
Yes, so it is interesting. I have a daughter that's 9, and she's in 3rd grade, and I have a set of twins, boy-girl twins, that are in 1st grade, and it's hard because I teach at their school, which everyone thinks that it's going to be easier for me because I know everything that's going on. Well, I don't. Everything came home, and I was like, whoa. I felt like I was in the
What are all these papers?
Yes, I felt like I was in the Wreck-It Ralph movie, and I was glitching out because I was, trying to figure out all these technical things on their iPads, and nothing was working. And because you're switching from the district Wi-Fi to the home Wi-Fi, and nothing is working, and you have to take a step back and realize, okay, we're going to get through this, but we've got to figure out a way for you guys to get your things done and mom to have her work time as well, and a lot of the things they were trying to rely on me for, and I had to say to them, how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You do it at school every day, just now you're in a different atmosphere. Your
Right.
classroom is now your home, you know, and you have to just change your mindset of your atmosphere.
And I feel like you already just gave some advice, but do you have any other advice for parents who might not understand the educational world, or, they might have a completely different job where they're just, I have no idea how to do this. I feel like I've seen so many memes, so many mom groups, so many groups of people just being like, oh, bring out the wine. I can't function right now.
Right.
What advice do you have for them?
My advice to all the parents out there that are trying to work from home and try and get their kids to learn and study as well is just take a deep breath and understand that they don't need to rely on you as much as you think that they do. They know how to do all of these things on their iPads, and they can do it by themselves. You just need to make sure that you kind of do have to put it back on them. I feel like the parents are trying to do a lot of it themselves, and they really don't need to. And I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but
Great advice.
they do. The kids know how to do it. I tell the parents that are calling me a lot, they know how to use such and such app. They do it in my class all the time.
Right.
But the kid is telling them, I don't know. But they do know,
Right.
Yeah. And the parent needs to put that responsibility back on the student. They do.
And that's how they learn and grow.
They do. That is how they learn and grow. And it's hard because I feel like the parents think this is a whole new learning atmosphere for them, if you will. It's a whole new experience, but it's really not. They do know what they're using because the teachers aren't really giving them, well, at least in Richardson, the teachers really aren't giving them anything new to use that they haven't used before.
I'm sure that's across the country too. I'm sure, no one's rolling out this random new app that all of a sudden the kids and parents and teachers all have to learn. I mean, I can imagine it trying to keep things streamlined.
Sure. Yes, they really are. They really are. And in a lot of cases, school districts are also trying to give them paper opportunities as well, because there are families that do not have internet services at home. And so they are giving them paper options as well. And so, the students do know what they're doing. The parents just need to realize, put the responsibility back on the student.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
They still have so much stuff to learn. I mean, these kids pick up the iPads and they know all the gadgets. I feel that they'll learn. Yeah.
Right. They really, really will.
Well, and you kind of segued perfectly. I had a couple questions. We talked about this before, but you're talking about maybe people not having internet at home or not having technology at home. I know that a lot of kids relied on the free and the reduced and free lunches, getting food at schools. What are and I know across the country, No Kid Hungry, or there's a lot of organizations trying to help. What's been your experience since people have been home and quarantined and since everything's been going on?
Right. Yes. So our district has still offered opportunities for families to go and get their free and reduced meal options, because a lot of families do rely on that. They are communicating every day are times to go get those meals, and at there's specific locations that you can go to. Not every school is open, obviously, and so you can still go and get those meals, but they have opened it not just to the families that are on free and reduced lunch, but now to everybody, because everybody is struggling right now, and so I thought that was a wonderful thing that our school district did, to open this meal opportunity to everyone, because times are struggling.
It is. I mean, I was looking at the employment numbers, and in the millions, people trying to apply for unemployment benefits, and it's an unbelievable time right now. If someone is seeing this and maybe they are on free and reduced lunches, or their family, they can't get out, they don't have the transportation to go out and get that food for their family, are there any options in place for those families, or what advice do you have for them?
My advice is definitely to try and get in touch with their school principal, First and foremost, always contact your school principal because they are your first line of defense. And then they can answer most of your questions that they need. Or you can always call your school district. The school building is usually open to answer any of your questions that you need. School websites, they all have a lot of information on how to get the meals to you if you need help. School counselors, they're a great source of information.
Wonderful. Well, is there any other information, Courtney, that you really think parents, teachers, anyone out there ought to hear right now?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing is just try and stay, one, as calm as possible. It's very hard, I know, because I was stressing out on Monday when everything came out. But I think the best thing for me that I did was I have a little armoire over here in our playroom / office, and I made a side for each of my kids, and I put all of their information for each of their classes. My kids are in dyslexia. They have codes for that. They have all their codes for their teachers. We have art, we have music, but I put all of their codes up for all of their stuff. And I said, this is where you go. You're responsible for all of your stuff. Mom has to work. If you need help, I will help you. But, this is where you go. And then we do reading, and then they go there, and they have math. And so it's, you have to have
some team effort.
It is a team effort, because my husband is lucky enough, he still has to go to work, but we'll have to work together, and we still have to walk our dog and feed the dog and do dishes,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have 2 dogs, and my husband actually is also still has to go into work. But we have 2 dogs, and I don't have any kids. So I love kids. I would love kids, but I know, I guess right now, I don't know if I want to say lucky that I'm not having that extra added responsibility. So I can only imagine what parents, teachers, what you guys are going through. And I know that, you seem to be handling it with a lot of grace and a great mentality. So thank you so much for coming on and kind of sharing your wisdom with everyone who's watching, and, reaching for that glass of wine.
Absolutely. It has to happen sometimes.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah.
All right. We'll be right back with a bunch more. We're going to be bringing you more episodes during this mini series and taking you through some of the ways that you can help and give back to the school districts or anyone else who's in a sticky situation. So make sure to join back, and we'll have another episode for you.